Hey guys, so this is going to be the first video on this deep dive series that I'm going to be doing on building voice AI agents. We're going to utilize ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs, in my opinion, is probably the best platform. I know Vappy exists and a few others in there, but with their recent release of this voice AI agents, I think ElevenLabs is going to dominate the market, specifically when it comes to voice AI agents, because of how robust the platform is and how you can interact with different large language models and how you can utilize n8n as a backend to retrieve information and build really powerful voice AI agents. So this is going to be a deep dive series. I'm going to keep updating the videos and keep creating more robust voice agents for different purposes. So like, for example, for restaurants, for different businesses, and as I work with other clients who I build these voice agents for, I'm going to keep providing those videos for you guys so that way you have a really good understanding and you can increase your skills on building very powerful voice AI agents that will have access to multiple tools to build really powerful agents for use cases. So therefore, the first thing I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to just quickly give you an introduction of the platform itself, what the voice agent is from ElevenLabs, and then the different areas and the different functionalities that's available. And then in the upcoming videos, we're going to keep building on top of this, where we'll start with a very simple workflow that will communicate between ElevenLabs and n8n in the backend. So let's get started. First of all, this is what the agent looks like. This is going to be an embedded widget that's going to be on websites. And then also we'll in the future talk about how we can utilize Twilio to build a voice agent for calls as well. But for this particular series, we're going to start by just looking at the widget that you can embed in a website. So the first thing you need to do, you need to head over to ElevenLabs.io. If you're not familiar with the platform, you will create a account. And once you create an account, again, there's several options available for pricing. You have a free tier, but I would suggest starting with the starter or the creator. This is probably a really good deal right now because they give you the first month 50% off, and you'll have plenty of credits to play around with. And also, if you want to clone your voice or somebody else's voice, you can use this and it will be really high quality. Again, this is the monthly. If you toggle here on the yearly, you get 2 months free. But like I said, you know, if you're just getting started, choose one of these two and it'll be good to go. All right. So once you're done, then you can click on go to app. So let me go back to my other, and then once you go to app, let me come here, ElevenLabs. So once you're logged in, you're going to end up here. So now what you will do is come over to agents right here on the left hand side. You'll click on the agents, and on the bottom, this is where you'll see your credits that are remaining. So on the agents, once you come here, this is the blank screen that you will see as far as there's no AI agent selected. Obviously, I've built a bunch here because I've been testing this for the past several days, but yours is going to look blank. So you will click on this plus button, or right here, you can just click on create an agent. So once you do that, you have to name your agent, and there's several options available as far as the existing agents that they have. So there's support agent, math tutor agent, video game character agent, and these are just kind of pre-built, meaning that they have already selected LLMs. They have a few system prompts, and we'll explore that in a little bit. But if you wanted to start from scratch, you can click on blank template, and then that way you can customize it fully. And that's what we're going to do moving forward. But for this one, just to showcase the different optionalities here, we're just going to click on support agent, and we're going to name this agent. So we're just going to say test support for now. And you're going to click on create agent. So you will select the support agent, click on create agent, and then this will generate this kind of free template or initial template for this agent itself. So just to kind of give you a little bit of introduction on these different sections. And like I said, in the next videos, we'll deep dive in different sections and build things. But for now, just to kind of give you what these different sections are and what they're used for. So the first tab is you're going to end up on the agent tab. So this is the default. The agent language. So this is one of the benefits of ElevenLabs. It's available in several languages. You can actually build an agent, a voice agent, and it will interact in these all these different languages, which is amazing if you live in different countries, or if you're working with clients who would prefer a agent that requires it to speak a certain language. But anyways, for now we'll just stick with English, and obviously later on we can explore those options when we build more robust agents. So that's the language, the first message. So this is just when the customer or a person who's interacting with this agent will click on the little call button, and this is exactly what it's going to say. Hi, I'm Eric. How can I help you today? Right? So the way to do this, I always recommend testing at every stage when you're building these things. And the way to test it is you can actually click on the test AI agent here. But before we do that, just quickly, so the system prompt right here. So this is what I was talking about as far as the template, because we clicked on the support agent. This already comes with this system prompt that says you're a support agent named Eric. You're very friendly, enthusiastic, and you really want to help the customer get the help they need. Answer in 3 to 7 sentences in most cases. And if you're familiar with n8n, and if you have built agents, this is equivalent to the system prompt inside that tools agent that we provide. But anyways, more to come on that. So let's go ahead and test this now, so that way you can at least see what this looks like. So we're going to click on test AI agent, and this is what that widget is going to show up as, even when you're embedding this widget on your website or on a customer's website, or whether it's for your own self. So the only thing to do to interact with this is you're just going to click on call AI agent. So you're going to click,
Eric, how can I help you today?
And as soon as you do that, now it's activated. So it's actually listening right now. As you can see, it's listening and it's going to respond to me, but I don't want to do that. Let me just quickly go back so that way we can have a conversation with this. So that, like you notice, it said, hi, I'm Eric. How can I help you? That's exactly what I said. So now we can even change this. So I'm going to change it to Jack. And as soon as you change anything, this little pop-up will come up that says you have unsaved changes. So we're going to click on save. And it's going to take a couple of seconds usually. That's normal. So I'm going to click on Test AI Agent now, and let's quickly interact with this.
Hi, I'm Jack. How can I help you today?
Hi, Jack. How you doing?
Hey there. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How can I help you today? I'm here to answer any questions you might have or assist you with anything.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, as you can see, it is actually, you can interrupt it. So because it's a live agent, and as soon as you talk back, it will stop talking, it will stop responding, and go back to listening. So that's what's going to happen. In the bottom, as you see, it says in development, calls are built at a rate of 500 credits per minute, and the credits are right here. So for every minute that you speak to this or interact with this, it's going to charge you 500 credits. But anyways, let me go back here because we'll go through the rest. So that's why every time you make a change, it's always good to click on Test AI Agent so you can test to make sure that the changes got implemented properly. You can change the system prompt for whatever you like, but for now we're going to leave it as it is. So this is going to be the LLM. So this is the large language model that you want to select to interact with. If you click on the drop down here, you'll see that by default, it's going to select Google's Gemini 1.5 Flash. And this is because it's the fastest large language model when it comes to this real-time conversation and interaction. You have option to select a bunch of other ones, and you can even add a custom LLM. But again, we'll explore that in later videos. So if you wanted to have a proper tool use, and in our case, when we build things with n8n, we will obviously select these bigger models that have proper tool use, and it's more powerful, like either the GPT-4 Turbo or Mini or the Cloud 3.5. So yeah, so this is where you can select your LLM, and you can always test this as you build things to see which large language model is good for what purpose. So depending on what kind of a voice agent you're building, you will have to play around with the different models to see which one provides you the best results when it comes to the interaction with the customer. So the temperature, again, this is just a normal large language temperature, and this is the controls the creativity or randomness of the responses that's generated by the large language model. Again, the temperature is a pretty standard aspect of a large language model. Limit token usage. Again, this is if you wanted to limit the token, but for now, you're going to leave it as standard, which is -1, which means that there is no limit on it. So knowledge base, this is where we'll explore also building our workflows with n8n, where we can add actually a knowledge base directly in this AI agent within the ElevenLabs. And there's several options to add knowledge base here. We can add a file, so you can add up to 21 megabytes of file. It could be PDF, text, docs, HTML, or EPUB. You can even have a URL where it will scrape actually a particular website to get information. And I tested this with my AI agency workshop, and it actually works pretty well. Or you can even add a manual text. So if you're, for example, building, I don't know, a restaurant voice agent, which we'll do actually as an example, you can always add this here and add the content as a text as well for the knowledge base. All right, so let's go ahead and cancel this for now. And then the tools, so this is where this thing becomes very powerful, because we're going to be interacting with this tool a lot, because this is how you're going to communicate from this voice AI agent from ElevenLabs to our backend to n8n in our case via the webhook. And again, we'll explore this in detail because this is what makes this thing very, very powerful. So a lot more to come on this, but for now, let's just leave it as it is. Secrets. So this is going to, again, we'll interact with this later on, but this is to, if you want to authenticate, you can add that there. Again, those are the complicated features here. I want to kind of start slow. And since this is an introduction, I just want to show you what is. So the next one is we're going to build something very simple, and then we're going to make it more and more complicated with the more builds. All right. So the next tab. So that's pretty much, we're done with that. This agent tab. So that's all of the features that are there. The voice tab. So this is where you can choose the voices. So ElevenLabs by default has several voices that it comes with, and you can actually choose right here. The reason why I have so many here is because I've done a lot of cloning, but yours is gonna look basically right here, and you can choose the different voices that are available within ElevenLabs. So, and you can see on the right hand side here what it's kind of made for. And if you click on play, it will give you an example. So let's go ahead and do that.
Just trust yourself, then you will know how to live.
There is no greater harm than that of time wasted.
As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
All right. So that's pretty much the voice options that you have. Or like I said, you can clone it. And since I've cloned a bunch like Jarvis and stuff like that, you can just select that from here. But for now, we're going to leave. Let's go ahead and actually select Bill right here, because that's like very popular narration one. So as you can see, as soon as you select and make a change, this little unsaved thing will pop up and you can save. And again, you don't have to save it all the time, but I would suggest it's a good practice to save it as you go on. So use Flash. Again, we'll come back and explore this later on, but this is basically for models that are low latency use cases. And for more, that you can definitely check here for more comparison, the difference between what the turbo is versus Flash. You can check that documentation there. TTPS output format. So this is the format that you want ElevenLabs to use for the text to speech. By default, it's going to choose the lowest one, which is 16,000 hertz. But again, obviously, as you choose the higher one, it's going to most likely cost you more credit, or it's going to become more expensive. So you can play around based on the use case there. But for the 16,000 hertz is pretty good. Pronunciation. So again, this is if you want to upload any kind of lexicon dictionary files that will apply the pronunciation replacement to the agent responses that are by default. And again, like I said, we'll when we build more complex things, we'll come back to this. Optimization, streaming latency. Again, these things for now, leave it as it is, because this is where, depending on what your use case is and what you're building, you can play around with the latency, the stability, and the similarity. And this will be based on how the speech becomes more consistent, or how similar do you want it to be if you have cloned a voice to the original voice. So again, like I said, for now, we'll just leave them as standards, and until you play around and really get comfortable, leave these as standards, I would suggest. So once let's go ahead and click on save, so we can select Bill's voice here. And again, you can always test this. So now if I just click.
Hi, I'm Jack. How can I help you today?
There you go. So the reason why it says hi, I'm Jack is because the first message is there, but you can change it as you move along. All right. So that was the voice analysis. So this is going to be very, very important. Another great thing about this agent is that you can actually put evaluation criteria. So that way you can collect even data during the conversation. And, we'll explore this further, because this makes it very powerful for customers, because you can actually have insight into how your voice agent had an interaction with customers, and you can add different evaluation criteria. You can collect data during the conversation. And like I said, we'll explore that further down. Security, for now, don't worry about this, because these are kind of like for more advanced things when you're enabling overrides. And this is going to be for later down the line when we're building more advanced voice AI agents. Same thing here. This is going to be some limitation that you can put on. So for example, the timeout, you can put how long before it times out, the max conversation duration. So if you want to say, hey, after like a 300 seconds, you need to stop conversating with the customer or yourself, because you don't want somebody to come and just completely use all of the credits that you have, right? So, and again, all of this stuff will come back and explore this down the line, but leave all of this as it is. The widgets, so this is the great thing. You can actually, once you build this thing, you can just copy this code snippet and put it on your website, and the thing will show up right here, as you can see. It says need help, and you can actually change this here too. So for example, you can change the color here. So if you wanted to have a combination of this little circle thing, you can have it compact, you can have it full where it will show this here, or you can expand it to where this will, oh, right now it's not showing, but this becomes bigger when you put expand. There you go. For some reason it's disappearing, but anyway, so we'll just leave it as full for now. Background color, so this is if you want to change this to something, you can play around with this obviously yourself to see, you know, what type of customization you want to make. Same thing with the changes here for the font, right? So you can play around with the formatting here. And same thing for the avatar. So this is the avatar. If you want to change the color here and customize it, you can definitely do that here. And the same thing, all the calls here. So it says start a call right now. You can change that to something else, and you can do a bunch of stuff here to customize the look and feel of it. Okay. All right. So we'll just clear this and it'll go back to default. So that's pretty much this introduction of what's around here. Most of the time when you're initially building, you're just going to be right here in the agent and the voice. So those are the two tabs that you're going to usually interact with. And then for the more advanced ones, we'll explore that later down the line. All right, so that was a quick introduction. In the next video, we're going to actually build a quick tech support exactly like here, and we'll test out the different LLMs. We can put change the system prompts, and then experiment a few things here and there, so that way you can see how this thing can become more and more powerful. And in the upcoming videos, like I said, we'll keep building on top of it and make this more and more complex, but we're going to go one step at a time, so that way you fully understand how all of this works. All right, so hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, like I said, put them on the Ask and Assist channel, and then make sure you watch the next videos in sequence, so that way it gives you a good understanding and you have a full understanding of how this system works and how you can interact with it back and forth. All right, I'll see you on the next one.